Hello folks! In this video, I'll use the term overtraining as it tends to be utilized. I think a way to sum that up would be by saying it's when you train too much, or too much in a certain way, and because of it, things happen like lack of progress, regression of performance in training, injuries, and symptoms that feel like sickness. In the fields of sports science and sports medicine, the concept of overtraining being real has long been accepted. Its existence is uncontroversial in those fields. Among elite coaches in various sports, it seems almost all believe in overtraining based on both what they have their athletes do and what they say. And many of the best athletes and bodybuilders also believe in it. I'd say the list of impressive accomplishments of those who believe it's possible to train too much vastly outnumbers the list of accomplishments of those who believe it's just a myth. Many who say overtraining doesn't exist seem to use that statement to support a more is better training philosophy, but I can essentially prove that even they don't believe that, and many of these people are training in somewhat similar fashion to people who believe in overtraining. If you see what many of these people who claim it doesn't exist are actually doing in the gym, they are often doing something like, say, about an hour in the gym 5 to 6 days per week. If they really didn't believe in overtraining, and if they really believe that more is better, then why aren't they training, say, 4 hours a day, 7 days per week? Certainly many of them should be able to find the time to do it. You can do this with a regular 9-to-5 job and still squeeze in some time for some other aspects in life. So why aren't they doing it? They seem to believe in overtraining and aren't admitting it to others. Many of the people who state that overtraining doesn't exist bring up athletes in fields that are very different from bodybuilding, like Olympic lifting and gymnastics. And they say that the athletes in those fields train hours per day on average. Hence, bodybuilders should train that much in lifting. But it's not applicable in the real world because optimal training is totally different in these different sports. And even elites in these other sports tend to believe in overtraining. If they didn't, they'd be training 10 hours per day year-round if it was better than, say, 4 hours per day, but they don't. The phrase, "there's no such thing as overtraining, only undereating and undersleeping," is something I've heard a fair amount. Apparently, these people believe that overuse injuries are totally impossible to get. So if I eat, say, 5,000 calories per day and get 9 hours of sleep each day, it's apparently impossible for me to get injured via overuse. Oh boy! These people are saying basically just that. It simply doesn't work that way in the real world. I actually kind of wish it were only that simple to avoid overuse injury, but it's not. Another line of evidence for overtraining existing is the fact that elite bodybuilders often don't spend more than 90 minutes in the gym on weights, including warm-ups and time between sets, for about 5 to 6 days per week. If overtraining really didn't exist, and more was better, shouldn't guys training, say, 3 to 4 hours per day, 7 days per week, be blowing the current best guys out the water? Blowing them away? But these types are nowhere to be found on the elite level. That type of training just hasn't worked in the real world to produce elite results in bodybuilding in the modern era, and I think that's a line of evidence suggesting that overtraining exists and can prevent people from reaching elite levels. That's about all I have to say on this issue. Perhaps I shall see you folks later.